Did you know that in your 30s, you are expected to have a net worth of between $25,000 to $100,000? According to the collegeinvestor.com, the average net worth of millennials is around $550,000. Now that is a crazy amount of money. So the median number is, I think, a little bit more accurate, and thankfully it's a lot better. The median net worth of millennials is around $135,000. So if I was to ask you, what is your net worth? What would that number be? One of the most important numbers you should calculate and consistently track is your net worth. Now, what's the meaning of the word net worth? Your net worth is essentially what would be left over if you were to pay off all of your debts today. So put all of your assets in one basket. Your properties, your cars, your jewelry, your art, anything that's valuable, essentially your Chanel bags, your Hermes bags, put them all in one basket. Then put all of your liabilities in a separate basket. Your mortgage, your student loans, automobile loans, your personal loans, anything that is a liability that you have to pay off. Take your assets minus your liabilities, and what's left over is your net worth. A few days ago, I came across a very interesting article from the Business Insider, and it detailed the average net worth of different age groups in the United States. It was pretty disheartening to see that the median net worth of under 35s was around $38,000. And I started thinking, why do these numbers seem fairly low, especially for those in my age group? And what could be potentially stopping us from attaining a higher net worth? That led me to 7 common excuses that people make around money and what stops them from saving and ultimately increasing their net worth. Now, typically, the first excuse is, I don't earn enough. This excuse is common amongst those who believe that their income levels are insufficient to achieve their financial goals. But unfortunately, they often overlook opportunities to increase their earnings and manage their expenses more efficiently. The unfortunate truth or reality is that frugality can only get you so far. Ultimately, you do need money to build wealth. The second excuse, which is tied into the first excuse, is I'll start saving or investing when I earn more. Delaying saving or investing is a common excuse that would ensure that you live from paycheck to paycheck. It's important to start regardless of your income level, even with the smallest amount. As I often say, one of the beauties of investing or financial markets is the effect of compounding. Take a look at these figures, which show you what $1,000 invested in Apple 15 years ago would be worth today. The third common excuse is I don't understand personal finance. The biggest challenge I find when people say they don't understand personal finance or it's too complicated boils down to 2 specific reasons. The first reason, which unfortunately ties into my industry, investment banking and finance, is that the industry is set up in a way that makes personal finance seem so complicated. With all the acronyms and fine prints and details and charts you have to remember, it really does make the process seem very daunting and cumbersome to most investors, but it really isn't as difficult as you might think. The second reason is that most of us were not taught how to be good with money from a very young age. We weren't taught good money management skills at school. These are things we've had to pick up either from our surroundings, our parents, our relatives, and most of us have had to self-educate. The great thing about the internet is that you can get education for free these days. You can listen to some really great money podcasts, you can watch some videos, you can invest in very simple basic finance books. The resources are endless. The fourth excuse is I'm too busy to focus on my finances. Sure, we're all very busy, whether that's with school or work or family or projects or personal commitments. A majority of people live extremely busy lives. But I bet in the midst of that busyness, we still find time to binge on Netflix and scroll endlessly on social media. I'm guilty of the Netflix part. According to the Global Web Index, Gen Zers spend an average of 2 hours, 43 minutes a day on social media. I'm not picking on Gen Zers. I love TV as much as the next person, but I'm just using this data point as a sample of the wider population. Now, imagine investing some of that time, just 15 minutes or 20 minutes a day, in learning about personal finance and good money management skills. This amount of time can be the difference between achieving financial freedom even earlier earlier or working until you are well into your golden years. The fifth excuse is, I will deal with my debt much later. Now, whether it's student loans or automobile loans or mortgages or personal loans, it literally feels like we are swimming in a lot of debt these days. Now, an article on psychologytoday.com says, when people procrastinate, their present self benefits by avoiding unpleasant work. However, their future self pays the price in way of stress or punishment. Now, nobody likes to be in debt. And if we are in debt, we need to face it head on. Procrastinating on dealing with it can really exacerbate financial stress and cause a lot of anxiety. So it really helps to take it one step at a time, one day at a time, and face our fears. Number 6. I'm too young to worry about money, or I'm too old and it's too late for me now. You're never too young to start thinking about your financial future. When I was younger, my mom worked as a very senior investment banker, and one core life skill she did her best to instill in her children all the time was money management and being prudent with finances. It didn't sink in until I was in my 20s. At that time, I worked at an investment bank and there was little change in my finances. It literally felt like I was just working these crazy aggressive hours and I had nothing to show for it. Until one day I said to myself, enough is enough. I need to be intentional about securing my financial future and making sure that I could retire on my own terms. Many young people underestimate the importance of financial planning early in life. But the irony is that the earlier you start getting used to planning for your financial future, the easier it becomes. So when you get to the age where you started a career or are perhaps advancing your career, putting those funds aside in way of savings or investing becomes second nature. It is a lot harder to teach a 35-year-old shopaholic how to be good with money than it is to instill those principles in a 14-year-old. The seventh excuse is, what if I lose money? Now, this excuse is an oldie, but it's a goodie. Who hasn't heard that excuse before? A lot of people think about investing as gambling. They are in it for the short-term quick wins. They think about the huge immediate wins or losses. Investing isn't like that. It's a long-term play. If you are investing in highly volatile assets, for example, cryptocurrencies, and you're not doing enough to protect your assets by diversifying your investments, I'm sorry to say you probably will lose quite a bit of money. Even if you are in relatively safer assets like, a basket of stocks or bonds or funds or ETFs, every now and then you will lose a bit of money. That is just the way investing works. Financial markets will go up and down. It's inevitable. But being a little bit smarter about how we invest could be the difference between becoming successful investors or losing a lot of money. For example, choosing to invest in tracker funds that track a whole industry or whole economy or sector is a lot safer than choosing to invest in 2 or 3 stocks. But one thing to always remember is that on average, markets do trend higher. Remember, we are in it for the long run. A bonus excuse is, I will rely on my inheritance. Well, what if that inheritance never comes? Anything can happen. You can lose your inheritance in the blink of an eye. I recently read a story about a gentleman who had left his grandchildren £50 each from a whopping £500,000 of potential inheritance. And that was because he was upset that they didn't visit him very often. Now, imagine if his grandchildren had mentally spent their portion of $500,000. Taking the responsibility of investing in our futures is one of the best things we can do for ourselves. And speaking of investing, I did post a video on how to successfully invest in financial markets, and I'll leave the link either here or there. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.